Good evening. Welcome everybody tonight. We're doing something special. We're doing a break-off show that has come from the Tuesday Night Music Show, courtesy of Brian S. Red. Thank you, sir. We are going to do the Record Roundup as an independent entity of its own. We're here tonight with our cast of characters, some wonderful, wonderful people here with us tonight. We've got Howie Darkstar, our engineer, BSR in the house from Milwaukee. We've got DJ Jay Brannon out in Cali hanging out with us tonight. Matt Ames from Georgia Lino.
Hello.
Got New Hampshire Eric from the Great White North.
Take off.
Joining us tonight, take off, you hoser. And joining us also is that's Kevin Beers from Ohio. So we are here, and this is the Record Roundup show. So before we get started, just like to quickly thank our sponsor. We have DJEventPlanner.com. You can find their information in the chat down below. Please look them up and give them a look. They're very, very helpful organizing your DJ information. So we are on a Record Roundup or Artist Roundup, or we could do Artist Spotlight if you don't particularly have a record. We generally just go around the room and name something that you guys should be aware of or should know, and see if you've got this on your radar. If not, yeah, add those notes and make sure you got that in your virtual or your Serato or whatever you're using. So we're going to just go in order by the way it looks like on my screen here. So Lucky Matt, you're going to lead us off tonight. What do you have for a record?
Dun, dun, dun. And as part of the music show a couple of months ago for Record Roundup, one of my selections was Pink Friday by Nicki Minaj. And she just recently came out with a follow-up to that record, Pink Friday 2, no Electric Boogaloo, but 22 other tracks that, in my opinion, show that all these years later, she's still as good as she was, if not better. She can still put out some hits. For example, Super Freaky Girl is on this album, even though that's been out a good while.
Okay, with the Rick James sample from Super Freak.
Yes,
sure. Yep.
Absolutely. And also, the other thing it shows me, other than she's very well connected, a lot of featured artists here, such as Drake, Lil Uzi Vert, and others. Some of them that surprised me have to do with her range, too. This reminded me that she's not only a talented rapper, but also a good singer as well, and even has a gospel or contemporary Christian type track on here called Blessings, where featuring gospel recording artist Tasha Cobbs Leonard.
Oh.
So it's just really interesting to see the range in what she can do, and to still give us some of our good quote-unquote bangers for our parties.
Sure.
And a little bit of everything in between. So
she's got a track on the radio now that's just hit. It's kind of a ballad, kind of a slow burner. Is that on this record, or something like Because You Love Me or If You Love Me or something? I've been hearing, and it's not rap. It's very much just like an R&B, something you'd hear from the Isley Brothers or SWV. Just has a real smooth sound. I don't know if it's on this one. I don't know how old
or Pink Friday 2 is.
Pink Friday 2 is, yeah.
At the time of this recording, it got released 2 weeks ago, I want to say. Yes. Okay,
that's
released date is December 8th, 2023.
Because that's getting some traction on local radio here in Boston in our loving 617 zone. So I like her. I mean, I've always played Starships from her. Her stuff's got a lot of energy. What was the other one you were going to say? Super Bass.
Yeah, that's another. Yeah, it's a big karaoke hit too.
Oh, for sure. Thank you, Matt. Yeah, good pick. Speaking of karaoke, we're gonna kick it over to DJ Eric up in New Hampshire. Love that DJ.
Hello, John.
Yes, sir.
And you forgot to mention that you are Howie Starr's Road Dog.
Oh, Road Dog. Yeah, we got to get the Road Dog. That's going to move to my show now.
Yeah, I didn't hear that once tonight, so yeah.
All right, Road Dog in it. Okay.
All right, I've got an artist. It's a band, like, and most of these hits were from the 60s. And then all of a sudden, in 1975, it was like, what happened? It was like night and day. And I'm talking about the Four Seasons, okay? Big Girls Don't Cry, Sherry, even Oh What a Night, right? They did that one too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh What a Night, right? But let's the single I'm talking about is Who Loves You.
Love it.
Man,
Yeah.
right?
Love it.
They sound like
Awesome song.
Love that song.
Or,
That is a great song.
Manfred Mann, like, where did
Yeah,
this
me too.
come out of? Sherry Baby, right? Or and the only reason why I'm bringing this up is I was Sirius XM the other day, and they play. It's called The Blend, one of the stations.
Sure.
And this came on, and I'm thinking, is that Starship? Who? And Manfred Mann, like, it reminded me of Blinded by the Light, or right. And I looked down, it was Frankie Valli, Four Seasons, and John Lloyd. I don't know who that is, but he
Lord or Lloyd?
John Lloyd Young.
Oh, okay. I was going to say John Lloyd
And
would be
Frankie Valli.
Deep Purple.
Is he the other vocalist? Maybe because like Oh What a Night doesn't start with
There's
Frankie
a
Valli,
lot
but
of
he sings the
vocalists
hooks.
in the Four Seasons.
Was there?
I tried to Google
Yeah, they're all
this guy.
vocalists in the Four
I
Seasons.
think it was another one of the members because there's a video of them doing it in the studio.
Yeah.
And one of the other guys is singing, and then all four of them are doing a harmony.
Frankie Valli's doing the biting his lip like the white guy dancing.
Right.
Frankie Valli,
They got
amazing
this
vocals, Frankie
button
Valli.
down to the navel. Yeah.
It was just, we didn't get a sound like
Very
Frankie
hairy,
Valli
man.
until Barry Gibb came along. I mean, that was like that falsetto on the radio, and you hear that voice and so much power. And it was just amazing. Of course, like Jersey Boys connects with
Another
with all
song, two other songs were on that album with Who Loves You.
You get
that
Swearing to
are
God.
really good. Well, yeah, okay, I'm wrong.
it Swearing to
Three.
God?
There were three other songs. Swearing to God was on there.
Yeah.
And then also My Eyes Adored You was on there.
That's a
Amazing.
great track.
And Oh What a Night. They were on that same album.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a great album.
Yeah.
Now
They were
look
a
at
hit
those
machine.
other three. Look at those other three songs, and then you listen to Who Loves You. Way different.
Total
than
departure.
any of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, Walk Like a Man,
Total
Cherry
departure.
Baby. Like how does this band from the doo-wop 50s, 60s
Exactly.
turn
I'm
into a
like, where
disco
did this come from?
powerhouse?
Yeah.
And they never
Pretty
did it
amazing.
again. It's not like
Oh.
a year later they released another product that
Oh.
had something like that. That was the
No.
one-off.
No, it was.
But it's
The-
a great
The next
track.
thing Frankie did that was on my radar was the theme song for Grease.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it
the
was
Bee
Yeah.
Gees written it.
Which is a
recorded.
great song
Reese-
that doesn't get played enough either. I think it's a great
was-
I will give you this personal information. The two songs that I remember came out at about the same time that were being played heavily in rotation in my house, I decided were my two favorite songs in the world, and I loved them. One was Rock the Boat Hughes Corporation. The other one was Frankie Valli, Who Loves You. Just two of my first favorite songs, like ever. It's
Yeah.
so good.
So rocky.
Still a great track.
And
Still a great
still
track.
not the Four Seasons. I'm sorry.
No.
It just blew me away.
Definitely,
It is, but it's not. You know, I
Step-
mean, there were a
step
lot
up
of
again.
artists who were reinventing themselves back then. The other one I can think of who just came out of nowhere and it's like, wow, this is different. Was Neil Sedaka with Sedaka's Back with
Yeah.
all that
Yeah.
crazy cool stuff on it.
He had good
Laughter in the
stuff
Rain.
too.
I love that track. Bad Blood is amazing. His
Yep.
own remake of his own song "Breaking Up" is hard to do as like a torch ballad is really good. And then he wrote stuff for like Captain and Tennille with "Love Will Keep Us Together," but that didn't sound anything like the Neil Sedaka of the late
Like-
50s, early 60s.
Calendar.
Yeah, but wasn't this the same time that we had
Yeah.
Olivia Newton-John came out with more of a harder edge too?
Olivia
Not with
Newton-John
the
was kind
physical
of just getting
stuff.
started at the time, and that was like
80s, I think, was
So-
physical, right? 80s.
So it was
80s.
still
Yes.
country? No, not physical. She
no,
had something
this was
before
Olivia
that.
Newton-John was doing "Please, Mr. Please." I mean, that's
Oh,
where
okay.
she
Yeah,
was.
don't play
Maybe I'm
B7.
thinking of Tanya Tucker or something, but there was somebody else that got in the mix there in the 70s that went from one genre and suddenly there was like, shocker, here, I can do this other stuff too.
Leave Delta Dawn out of this.
you know.
That's how.
Frankie,
Is that Helen
when they,
Reddy?
yeah, that was Helen Reddy. But when Frankie hits that, I love you,
Oh,
baby,
Kenya
that's
Tucker
still,
did it.
that's still getting played today. That's
Oh yeah.
timeless
Oh,
track
totally.
and great band. So if you guys haven't researched,
Yeah, Eyes Adore You. Can't take my eyes off of you.
Eyes Adored You is
Which
amazing.
I always, for years, I thought the song was Miles to Georgia.
Yeah,
Well,
like
George.
Mickey
It was the
Lawrence did that
saddest place
song
in the
too.
world because every song about Georgia was very sad. So Georgia.
True.
Mickey Lawrence.
The devil went
Night-
there.
The lights went out in
The
Georgia.
lights went out.
Yeah.
Night Train to
Midnight Train to
Georgia.
Georgia.
There's a midnight
Night
train.
Train to Georgia.
And I thought this was another
Woo,
Georgia song
woo.
about the saddest place in the world, because all the songs about Georgia were sad.
Yeah.
Stop
Ray
going.
Charles.
Oh yeah.
Sad sounding.
That
Yeah.
Sad sounding.
I get Georgia on my
The
mind.
only
It's just-
happy Georgia song I can think of was that one that Boz Gags did. That's the only one I can think of. Georgia.
Yeah.
That is a
He
little
kind
happy.
of gave it a little more upbeat. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Great pick, Eric. Good choice. Frankie
It is
got
a good
four
pick.
seasons, any combination thereof. So we'll jump over to BSR. We'll see what Brian's got for us tonight.
I thought I had the ultimate greatest hits in my hand. And when we started the show, I was convinced of that until I looked at the track listing and I noticed things were missing. Should have been there because there's songs that I really like. So I have the original. And as a gift, someone gave me a repressing of this maybe 2 years ago. My friend Art, he surprised me for Christmas with a couple of records. And one was a repressing of this. I didn't have the heart to tell him that I had the original, but I do have this repressing still in wrapper. There's some controversy here, but I don't want to get into that today. What I want to talk about is the amazing music on the original right here. I got it. Rock and Soul Hall & Oates Greatest Hits.
Oh my God! I love it.
Come on.
Say it isn't so. No, I'm just kidding.
Interestingly enough, Say It Isn't So is a brand new track on this record. But talk about a great record. Check out this track listing. This Sarah Smile. She's Gone. Rich Girl. Kiss on My List.
I haven't skipped one yet.
You Make My Dreams.
Still no skips.
Private Eyes.
Hey,
Wow.
I Can't Go For That. No Can Do.
No, can do.
hit machines.
Man Eater.
Wow.
One on One.
Damn.
Pretty song.
And on the original version, Wait For Me is on here too. And then that's not my jam. And there were other songs that I think should have been there instead of Wait For Me. But regardless, it only says plus 2 new songs down here, which is really funny. If you look at the repressing, it tells you what those 2 new songs were, and they were good songs. That would be Say It Isn't So, which is a wonderful song, and not my favorite tune, but a good tune, Adult Education's on here.
Yep.
So I'm thinking in my head, at first, when I grabbed this off the shelf, I'm like, you know what? This is the ultimate greatest hits. This is all the Hall & Oates she'll ever need. Wrong.
Yeah.
There's stuff that's missing.
Yeah.
There is stuff that is missing. And I'll give you an example. One of the greatest remakes of all time turned up on Voices. And that is the remake of the Righteous Brothers, You Lost That Love and Feeling. They do
nice.
amazing version of that.
Yeah.
That's up on Voices. This also has You Make My Dreams on it, and a lot of songs are on the greatest hits, but you need that. This is a supplement to the greatest hits. You got to have this.
Hopefully they kicked in the Christmas song. You get Jingle Bell Rock from them, or because that was maybe they didn't get the permission to have that on there, but that's Hall & Oates Christmas since we're in the season. But absolutely perfectly. If you need like the everything go-to Hall & Oates record, that's just about everything that you're gonna need.
Just about, but you're missing Did It in a Minute.
I was just gonna say. I said it earlier. Did it in a minute. Yeah.
Did It in a Minute. You're missing.
I like Diddy Doo-Wop from them, which was back. Look at me, I'm running.
I remember that one too, Joe.
That used to be on the radio in Boston here all the time, and that was probably before they had enough hits because they only had the 2-minute 11-second Rich Girl that was hitting back then.
Now after this, there wasn't a whole lot that I feel like you gotta have. I mean, Out of Touch is a cool song off of Big Bam Boom. I do like that song. So maybe that one. But aside from that, I don't know that there's essential Hall & Oates that you have to have. I've heard people talk about some of the albums that they did in the 90s that are so good they're among their favorite albums. Like famous people have said, yeah, one of my favorite albums is this 1997 Hall Notes album that I've never heard.
Right, and it's
So-
just good luck trying to name a song off it. It's like,
Right, I mean,
were they done at that
but
point? I
guess-
thought they retired. They could have, with that much in the catalog, they could have called it a career then. And so
good stuff.
we're good.
I'm sure it's good stuff, but this stuff, man, I'm telling you, if you only get one, get rock and soul. But if you want to expand a little bit and really, I feel like you got to have a copy of Private Eyes and you got to have a copy of Voices, at least. There are others. There's was it Late Night Luncheonette and things like that are really good too, with a lot of tracks on there that maybe weren't big hits, but they're good tracks.
No, sure.
Yeah,
and like you say, a lot of that stuff. That this isn't just Hot 100 music. This stuff all was in the top 10. And they were always in the top 10, and most of the time at number one.
Yeah.
Good pick.
I
Very good.
still spin "You Make My Dreams Come True" when it works.
That's a
big
big one.
Everybody likes that one.
It's
There was a
huge. I love
movie
it.
It's a
that
big
turned up then.
recessional song. at
Wedding
weddings.
Singer.
Was it The Wedding
Yeah,
Singer?
it's a big recessional wedding song too.
There's a movie, and it's not The Wedding Singer that I'm thinking of, where they actually show up at the end of the movie and perform the song.
Oh,
It's an 80s movie. It's or not 80s, an late 90s, early 2000s movie. And I don't know the name of it. I'll have to look it
I
up.
got nothing.
But they actually show up at the end of the film and perform "You Make My Dreams Come True." Hall Notes.
Oh, very good.
So
Side note on Wedding Singer, I've actually had someone have the "Grow Old with Me" Adam Sandler song as their walk up to the altar.
yes,
Which
Oh,
is
I played it at
great
several
song.
weddings. Yeah.
That's actually a great song.
let
Yeah.
me Google that.
funny. That's we'll play that after class, so just so we can be familiar again. Kevin, let's check in with
Kevin!
what do you Kevin? Oh no, we left Kevin at home alone. What do we got?
Yes, that's right. I picked a song or an album that I like. I don't know that it's one that I would normally play at the venue. But the album I picked, one of my favorite artists is Belinda Carlisle's Runaway Horses.
Oh, we talked about that last night a little bit.
Okay.
And the song I really liked on that, and it's one that I read an article that said that was her favorite song she ever sang, was the song called Summer Rain.
Okay.
That was her favorite song that she had sung as of at that point at 2013. Some of the
Wow.
things I found out about, George Harrison did at least a guitar as a background, and Bryan Adams did some background vocals on that album.
Calling in some favors.
Nice.
She was. I love "Circle in the Sand" from her. That's just like one of my favorites. She just has such a beautiful voice when she got anti-go-go'd and just started doing her own thing.
Yeah.
She's just.
I was consumed in my stupid Hall Notes research. What album are you talking about?
Summer Rain, or Runaway Horses.
Skip Belinda Carlisle.
What was the big track on Runaway Horses?
Oh, the track I liked the most was Summer Rain.
Okay. Heaven as a Place on Earth has just been my jam forever. I love that song.
That's good. Got to get the right version of it. There's a lot of remixes that are awful.
The original version, the video version, that is an amazing track.
Yeah.
And it's one of those songs that could be really bad in the wrong hands, because it's so sing-songy. It's like, What It's Worth, Heaven is a Place on Earth. Anybody else who's done that song, it might not have worked too well, but Belinda Carlisle doing it in the way it was produced was really good. And not
It's
about
the same. It's the same chord progression as "You Give Love a Bad Name." Actually, you can almost kind of sing the lyrics to Bon Jovi over Belinda Carlisle. If you've ever tried that, try that at home. It's fun.
We're going to suggest John goes out a little more often, but outside of that,
I do that when I'm sitting at home alone playing Belinda Carlisle.
He's that guy who watches The Wizard of Oz and plays Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon.
before the chill room, we know what John was doing at 3 a.m.
After the third lion's roar, you don't start Dark Side.
Oh, I can do this.
chill room.
After
You have to wait for the lion roars.
Wait for the lion to roar the last time, and then it's in sync for which is which. Let's kick it over to Howie, our producer and commander in charge. What do you got for us, Howie?
Well, I have something that was, I believe it was Bob Geldof that produced the Live Aid in 1985. And as always, I hit the Salvation Army store on Tuesday because it's half price day. And I got a 4-box set of the Live Aid. And I think for beginners, it's got
Whoa.
a plethora
Seriously?
of different artists, you know, and now they have what Dire Straits is on here, George Thorogood, Queen is on here.
Oh, you get the Queen set too. That was the highlight of the
That's
show right there.
awesome.
Yeah, and yeah, they actually have 5 songs on this for this set. It stole the show, in my opinion. Simple Minds is on there. David Bowie is on there. Joan Baez. So, you know, you've got some legacy people there. Pretenders, The Who, Kenny Loggins, Elton John.
I wonder if you
Bowie,
I wonder if you have some stuff that wasn't broadcast live. Like I recorded that on VHS when that was on. Of course, that was like the biggest television event in history, next to, you know, Dick Clark and Ed Sullivan. It's like, oh my God, we got to record this.
There's 51 songs, but unfortunately, due to contractual things or whatever, you know, some of the bigger artists are not on this because the record company wouldn't allow it, even though
they wouldn't
all
sell
the money going for charity.
Sure.
So, but I mean, it's just the amount of people and the genres and just the wide range. It's like 40 years apart, you know, or 50 years apart. I think it'd be good for a beginner to have this if they can get it for, and I know that you can get it at the you know, the used record stores, or as I do, the Salvation Army. You know, they're the cheapest. So
very nice. Is that
anyone from the 80s?
Is that vinyl or is?
No, I got the 4-box CD set.
4-box CD set.
Are the Hooters on that, Howie?
The Hooters?
Yeah, they played because they're from Philly, so they played very early in the day in Philadelphia.
And see,
2 biggest hits. They did
Can We Dance? Day by Day.
Judas Priest is on here. The Cars. Neil Young. Let's see, Eric Clapton, Phil Collins, Patti LaBelle.
Didn't Phil do the double? He played England and then flew over.
He played Wembley and he played Philly.
Yeah, Hall
conquered over.
He took a nap.
Trying to find yours. So BB King is on here. Run DMC and Excess. And now yours, I guess for contractual reasons, yours isn't on there, Jay.
Yeah, that's a problem I heard the other day, which shocked me. But much to your point of this, when the movie from Woodstock came out, the band Mountain, Mississippi Queen, played it, and I guess they had an insane set. Like, it was on fire. They were at their top of their game, and their manager wouldn't sign over the rights to be on the soundtrack or the movie. And it's one of the reasons that people point to why Mountain never got as big as a lot of the contemporaries that played Woodstock.
Right.
Because they didn't get that launching pad from that soundtrack. So
managerial
I remember watching Live Aid, and the Hooters, who I liked, came out. They may have been the openers for all I remember, because they were a Philly band.
Yeah. And they were hot, 83, 4, right around there. That was kind of there.
And they All You Zombies and We Danced, and then
Day by Day. Don't Take My Car Out Tonight. Bunch of Hooters is a great band too. I think I've had that record on here before on a previous record roundup.
It's a great band.
And We Dance was one of my favorites by them, though.
Yeah. They were kind of Wang Chung-ish in that they had really good tracks. They were very solid, but they didn't really get that notoriety. And I always blamed Wang Chung did all of the music on To Live and Die in LA's soundtrack. And when bands go to soundtracks too early in their career, it for some reason tends to be suicide for their career. And I don't know what that is. Because
if you put a song on like Columbia, because that's the movie soundtrack, you can't release it on your own label. And the song that gets big is now
might be it.
Stuck over there.
That might be it.
You know, we've chased down soundtracks to get songs before.
Oh yeah, you can listen to Live and Die in LA's soundtrack, and there's probably 10 instrumentals out of 15 songs, and it's a great soundtrack just to listen to. But it's just Wang Chung, and it kind of, it just never took off. Everyone knows Dance Hall Days and Wang Chung Tonight and all that, but their bigger hits were their first album with Don't Let Go and then the soundtrack, but they never hit it the same way, as the Hooters and a lot of those 80s bands.
So
So
it was like everybody have fun tonight. That was one.
That's
yeah,
it.
it
That's
was
the
like
Wang Chung tonight,
that didn't speak to who the band really was.
No, I know
know?
that, but it always did good for me.
For sure.
On the
Well, thank you,
floor.
Howie. That's a great pick
100%.
for Live Aid. Absolutely.
Awesome.
I'll ask you after we're done and get past the credits what label that's on, because that'd be interesting to hear. And that's going to bring us over to Jay to wrap it with Jay's pick of the week. What do you got?
I'm going to compete with Brian tonight a little bit because I'm going to give you a greatest hits where I am confident that of the 18 tracks on this, there are 16 tracks that you're going to use. So if you ever need to compile music from Mr. Tom Petty, I highly suggest you get his greatest hits album. Let me just give you a quick taste, if I could.
Banger. This is going to be like the Hall & Oates record, yeah.
It really is. It really is. American Girl, I Need to Know, Even the Losers, You Got Lucky, Running Down a Dream, Into the Great Wide Open, Mary Jane's Last Dance, Free Falling, Don't Come Around Here, Here Comes My Girl, Breakdown, Refugee, Don't Do Me Like That, I Won't Back Down, Learning to Fly. I mean,
I haven't hit a skip. I think
there's two other tracks on it. Something in the Air and listen to her hardest to it, The Waiting. The two tracks that I'm not on are The Waiting and Something in the Air.
Waiting. That was a great
It's
one.
the hardest part. Yeah.
So
Then I take it back. There's one track, Something in the Air.
Stop Dragging My Heart Around. Was that on Stevie Nicks' album?
Yes.
Stevie got that. That was Time Space.
Stevie got that. That was
got
her
that one.
track.
Yeah.
He was just the guest vocalist, so it didn't make his greatest hits.
Did you
Should have
say
that one
you
too.
got lucky?
But if you need to play Tom Petty, this is the one you want to go to because this covers his catalog. Like if you have a Tom Petty fan and you show them this, you're done. They're not going to go.
Lucky
Oh,
on that? You got lucky.
Yep.
on that?
Yeah, it might have came later.
yes,
You Got Lucky was
you got
82.
Lucky's on it.
Yep.
You got Lucky's on
Okay,
it.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah, if it's
Lucky's
going to
on
be
it.
like
I mean,
running down a
it's
dream, if you
everything.
get all that stuff,
Yep.
that's
Oh,
what
that's
you want.
on it. Everything.
I have an answer to your question, John.
Oh, what is that?
The label it's under is the Band-Aid Trust because everything went to the charity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And-
the labels must have had to
That's
sign
good
out.
that they all
Any
decided to
sales
just,
would go back to the charity and not the label.
Right.
give up the rights
cigar
for it.
guy.
rather
I'm going to
than
make
fighting.
you a star, kid. Let me get you published.
Yeah.
I was wrong, by the way, when I was talking about the Hall & Oates doing "You Make My Dreams Come True" in a movie. They did perform in a movie. The movie was called "You Again." It was 2010, and the song was "Kiss on My List" that they performed.
Mm.
It's a great song.
So, but it was
Great
wasn't "You
track.
Make My Dreams." It's probably "Wedding
Yeah.
Singer," like Matt had said, is the one that elevated it.
I Googled that. What movie You Make My Dreams and Wedding Clinic kept coming up.
Yeah, "Wedding Singer."
And as we talked about on another show on this same esteemed network, we were talking about the effect of GTA 6 with the
Tom
track
Petty.
Love
Yeah.
is a Long Road by Tom Petty. So it didn't make the album because it wasn't a big hit for him. But I guarantee in the next year or so, you're going to get kids asking for, can you play that GTA 6
Yeah,
song?
because it's in the video game.
Is Tom
Yeah.
Petty, Love is a Long Road. And I think other tracks may have made that game. I don't know yet. No one does. So having a greatest hits like this could really do some good, just like Brian's.
Now we can re-release the
You're a
greatest hits and
DJ,
add
you're
a song.
covered.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
sell
covered.
it all over again.
Well, you know what? And if I was the estate, I would. I would, by tomorrow, that would be on the shelves as a new release with added bonus tracks and I would put on the cover from GTA 6 because
Everyone's going to hear it in the game.
and I would zero stream it. Zero stream. Like you want it, you buy it.
This is where you get it.
Right.
This is where
you're
you
not
get the bonus
streaming
track.
it. You're not going to Spotify for it. Yeah, I'd shifty that one really fast.
Available only at Boomers or Us.
Yep.
Or Bass Pro.
Yep.
Sure. Excellent.
Like I said,
And
Boomers
Brian
or Us.
can say that. Brian can say that because he is part of the greatest generation. So at his age, he understands, looking back on boomers, the challenges that, you know, they've had. I'm Gen X. So
challenges.
I'm
Yeah.
definitely Gen X,
Yeah,
even if my
definitely
license says boomer.
Well, I got to say, fantastic picks from everyone all around the board. We got some greatest hits that really topped the charts, some compilations that we didn't expect to see coming. Hopefully we get to do this all again together and talk about a record roundup or an artist spotlight. My name's John Cawley, 617 Events, Boston. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Be sure to come and visit us at djntv.com/